This track you're hearing is what I would actually call a true guilty pleasure. And that's in every meaning of it. It's like literally guilty for listening to it and pleasure because I'm listening to it. And yeah, this track is interesting because it's all over the radio when I was young. See, I grew up in the 2000s, I was born in 97, this was always on the fucking radio, like 2003 onwards. It's crazy. Charted number 3 in the UK according to some facts, which is interesting. And yeah, like, this is one of those tracks that, yeah, initially I didn't really like that much, but eventually it sort of grew on me. Because I'm quite into pop music and I like songs that have just good composition, and this is really no exception in that case. I can see how people might find it annoying, because obviously some of the vocals I think maybe are a bit off-putting and dated to that extent, although maybe ahead of its time too, in a weird way. It's like use these stutters to essentially make the lyrics what they are, to actually like extend it and keep the rhythm going, which is certainly an interesting aspect. Obviously now I'm more into music and obviously the composition side. What's the complicity side? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, this track is just interesting. It's got so much going on. And you also got the synths, you got the trumpets, you got the other vocals on the keyboard track, I guess. I'm not sure what the instrument is, but the bass is pretty good too. It's very simple, but also just pretty groovy. Yeah, it's a bass line that can just make me happy. Also, you've got the sort of pre-chorus thing going on as well. Just interesting. And then there's that interesting bridge as well in this track. It's essentially like an instrumental and a bit of like, oh yeah, in between. And yeah, it's just a feel-good song really, that's what it is. And I looked at the meaning a while ago as well, out of curiosity. And I saw people say that it sort of represents the love for music, about how obviously you get up and move your feet. And yeah, that does kind of represent music. Yeah, in my head I'm moving my feet, but in real life I'm just stuck to the ground. What the fuck is that about? Anyway, I just think that this song is good. Yeah, it's not the best song I've ever heard, but it is good. You know, that's often a good thing from me anyway, because it can be quite hard to impress me with some music, especially pop. Like, it can be quite difficult to get me into some pop music for that matter. Yeah, I'm not sure what else there is to say about the song. I'm trying to think. I swear I had something interesting to say about it, and I can't remember what it is. I don't know. It's actually strange. I thought I had something else to say about it, but oh yeah, the music video. That's it, of course. Fucking music video. Yeah, people probably recognise the music video because it's actually interestingly animated. It's got this entire pixel art graphic, which is really cool, but it's also got so many sort of innuendos and stuff in it, which is just interesting, and then just some bizarre sort of editing. Like if I play it now, you know, this in player, and it starts with like this squirrel with a peanut, just dancing a toast, some weird fucking sort of loopy sort of gifs. Also, are they playing a fretless banjo or something? I just noticed that in the music video. Some weird bits in the music video. And for some reason, Abraham Lincoln at the end, is that? Yeah. Again, like quite a recognisable one. Oh yeah, Star Wars reference at the end, I think there's. Is it? Pretty sure it's a TIE fighter. I can't see the fucking overlay on YouTube's stupid pop-up things. Anyway, that's the song. It's good. If you haven't listened to it before, listen to it. Yeah, you might be surprised by it. Right, let's start this with a fun one, and I won't make a full-blown video on this, but it sort of ties into two different things. I'm not making a review on it, but I think it's kind of important to talk about anyway. So obviously this might come up if people search it, and hopefully you see the timestamp. But I'm gonna review the Shreddage 3 Fretless, and I've got some things to say about this for sure. I do like it. I think it's very good, but I do have issues with it too. And I think for me the main issue is it just doesn't always sound like it's fretless. And I don't know if that's because the slides are not complete or what, but I managed to get the slides working for the first time ever in a shredded instrument. Because I've had a history of just bad luck with the slide feature, and it turns out you just need to put the velocity between 1 and 27 in FL Studio at least. But you can't even see the numbers because FL Studio is a stupid fucking interface, so I wonder when they're going to fix that. So reason they measure it in percentages rather than the actual number, where the number would actually be more useful, but okay. Yeah, I do like the Fretless so far. It's been pretty fun to use. And in my cover that I'm putting this in, it's sounding pretty good. It's been fairly easy to learn so far. Yeah, I suppose one of the only things that's not so great about it is you don't really have a choice of like using a pick or fingerstyle, so it's a bit kind of here. There's not that that amazing. And also, I don't think these performance styles really help that much, especially as they just keep changing the hand position, just a bit stupid. And does it even do chords? That's the thing. I'll put a chord in the track that I'm making now. Let's see, key changer. Just chords there, yeah. Let's see. Okay, it does do chords, that's interesting. That's not a good thing. Yeah. It's an interesting instrument. I don't know the technical details of it, so obviously if you ask me like, oh, what about the Glorp and Yorpen feature? I don't know what the fuck that is. Glorp. That's all I know. But yeah, it has everything that a shredding instrument has, and you can change it and customize it. Annoyingly, when it loaded, it didn't load into just the blank thing, it automatically chose a style. I don't know if that's the Contact 9 player or what. But it's just like really fucking annoying. And also because it's Contact as well, and also has all these parameters, I'm going to have to update my instrument template to have it basically doing stuff. What is it? Fuck. I can't think for some reason. And I might try to audio application beta this. See, FL Studio Fretless? No, it'd be a mix, isn't it? Maybe it might be this. Can you hear it? Yes, you can. So this is like the Fretless. And yeah, it's decent. I've put amplitude 5 on it, and for some reason it auto-loaded with tones on it without me realising. Yeah, this is like one of the sections. I'm not sure if you can hear it anyway. I'll have to remember to separate the audio to a different track. But it's got like a 85% bite, a bit of extra attack, decent pitch bend range. It's on solo virtuoso. It's also just doing its own free thing with like the positions, so technically it could do with going like lower. Actually, I put it like automatic. Wait, what? Fret 0. That's better. It's more true to the actual instrument. It goes on. I do like this bit. Yeah, like people won't guess the song from this, I don't think. It's really difficult because I've obviously got this love for bass, and I try to write as complex a style as possible. It's going to break down. There's not really anything in the breakdown though, to be fair. I don't think anyway. No. It's just spammy notes. Yeah, usual. And solo. And this bit gets interesting. It sounds a bit like Lionel's Big Brown Beaver, is it? From Primus. I love that bit. Literally the same fucking notes. Which is weird actually, because this is pitch shifted to 450 Hz if you're wondering why it sounds a bit sort of off tune. And I can show you another bit, I suppose, like the synth. Yeah, it does sound a bit off there. I did tune this, I swear. It's some just shit I'm writing, I don't know. What's going on there? Hang on. A bit weirded out by that. Go to the bit I want. Where is it? F sharp, A sharp. Yeah, those all are in that. Don't know what's going on there. I guess it's just like the dissonance, but it probably works better in the whole track itself and all the instruments there, but I don't want to spoil it. There's another bit. Yeah, I'm just finishing up on this track with the bass. It is pretty good, and I do like you can mute the notes as well as this, so it sounds a bit more metal. But I'm going to go through tone it and see if there is a better metal tone. Because I kind of like the, I don't know what you call it, like, basically think corn, early corn. I love that fucking bass tone, it's like so wet, it's just, yeah, it makes you wet. So I might try to find a tone like that somehow, if that's even possible. I should do the raw audio as well. Let's go to that fun bit. Yeah, that's like the raw audio. And go to the solo bit to see as well. Yeah, does sound pretty good though. Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted in this, and it's going to be fun to make a metal cover for a song that I've been meaning to try out on technically a fretless bass, but obviously I don't want to buy one to fucking suck at it. Also, they're using the bass that I think I was going to get for this. It's like an Ibanez something, S15 or something like that. I can't remember what it's called, SF500. It's like a browny, orangey colour. It's that exact bass. Speaking of which, how many frets is it? I'm pretty sure that's like 25, wasn't it? It goes right up to the bridge, so possibly. What note is that? Fuck. Hang on. I can't remember my keyboard. Or maybe it shows on the thing. No, it doesn't. Whatever note that is the highest. Yeah, I'm quite impressed though. But the other thing I was supposed to say is like I'm surprised that I missed the slide thing, because it turns out it does work on the other shredded instruments. It's just that I was trying to assign it to a key switch which wasn't working, and that's because it would have interference with the mutes. I don't think that you can just mute with just another velocity, or at least I could replace like a Gato hammer full with mutes basically. Yeah, I do like this instrument, I do recommend it. It's definitely money well spent in this case. The only thing I'd say is you might need to find another tone, like, what is it? What do they offer? Slap happy? Can you do slap? What? Is that even a thing? I don't even see a function for that. There was a manual actually for this. I could do a Control F if I could find the manual. Manual? No. Manual? Okay. bear with me. I have to go into the VST plugin folder to find that. HD Fretless documentation manual. Let's see. So slap. No slap, okay. Pop or thump, because I sometimes do better. Thump. No. Ah, okay. So there's no slap bass sound there. That's the only problem with it now. At least I can see. I haven't tried actually harmonics. I'm gonna try that in a sec. Let's do an empty pattern. Go to front. Okay, so let's do an old D5 harmonic. Whatever that is, wherever it is. That's with an annoying bug with actually that's really high. Annoying bug with contact for some reason. Fucking I don't know why, but it shows the notes as being higher than what they actually are. So even though it's sort of designed for FL Studio, it's showing that the lowest note is C minus 2, which is not real, because it only goes up to C0. So E minus 2 means that it must be E. Yeah, it is. And that's a harmonic, but can you slide it? Because harmonic slides are one of the big things with a fretless, so let's overlap slightly down. Oh, we can't. Okay, that's another issue. Unless it's the other way around. Oh, that's a bit shit, because that's one of the big things about fretless. That's really cool. You can actually do harmonic slides on it. Just amazing. So I sort of wish that was a thing. Maybe they could update it in the future. I don't know. There has to be a way to make that, surely. Yeah, that's my thoughts. So let's move on. I've got stuff to do. This is a topic that tires the fuck out of me whenever it comes up, whenever I think about it. It's too much. And ironically, it's a topic that seems to make it out that it's too much. And I'm talking about trauma dumping. But the thing is, I'm not anti-trauma dump by any means. In fact, I get a little hit of dopamine when I try to what the fuck? Help people. What the fuck is going on with my mind? But yeah, I do try to help people, and that's one way that I try to cope with life at the moment. And then you got people just saying like, oh, you can't trauma dump on me, it's too unfair. I've got too much to deal with. Like, you're fucking kidding me. It's like, people open up to you because they have issues. They have struggles. Like, either in daily life or just from something past. Like, it really varies. There's no person with like the same trauma ever, I don't think. It's always different. And it's just really ignorant and selfish when people just completely fuck everyone over just because of this. Because someone can't take a story or just hear someone out, even just listen. You know, there's so many things wrong with being anti-trauma dump. And that's where I obviously take issue. Because it's not bad to trauma dump. I say this myself, having obviously been in a situation where I do talk about my trauma and also being on the receiving end. And I do try to help people with that whenever it does come up. You know, if they need help, some have already handled it really well, but other times not so much. So it just pisses me off when everyone's like that ignorant about this. There's not even a whole topic to discuss. It sure requires a bit of expertise in some areas. But, you know, that's obviously to be decided there and then. And that's the only part that isn't easy. It's like, everyone's got a specific issue. And that needs to be handled with care. Whereas currently what we see at the moment is like a not care sort of attitude towards it, where we do encounter these issues. Obviously that harms people in the end, that harms even potential victims of people who have been through a lot of trauma. And yes, that does happen. It's been pretty much rooted in a lot of science now. Like, it's pretty much been explored and realised. That's essentially why it's so important to give a shit. And it may not be convenient to you, which is why I find this is really off-putting. But someone is asking for help by doing this, by obviously talking about their trauma. That's not something to be ignored. In fact, that could be the very thing that puts someone behind bars. Obviously, the people who cause trauma, assuming it is done by a person. You know, there isn't really any justice until you actually explore these things. And I think people just can outright say, like, no, I don't want to hear this. Or just say, like, I don't want to hear your trauma dump. Like, fuck me, that's selfish. And you're probably on the side of people who commit these horrific traumatic moments for people. Whether it's like physical abuse, sexual abuse, or there's probably many other things. Let's be honest, it could even be like suicide. You know, you're not helping that by saying, I don't want to hear it, or I don't have the time for it. Like, it's so fucking selfish. And that ends up backfiring towards you in the end. Not the person going through the trauma, it's the person literally saying that they don't want to hear a trauma dump, or just anything like that. It also all backfires. And that's why it's such a massive issue. Yeah, I don't like the anti-trauma dump sort of crowd that seems to have propped up over the years. And even then, like, I get people struggling. There's a lot on people's plates now. I know that feeling myself. Even being at home all day, it's not the most optimal thing for me. You know, I do have my own struggles, and somewhat traumatic ones like that. And it's not easy. But at the end of the day, you have to look out for others, to look out for yourself. It's how the world works. Don't give me the fucking I don't want to hear it sort of crap. It is your problem in there, and if you just start to hear it, then you have to deal with that person later on. But I will say, the people who are anti-trauma dump as well, should go without saying, are just a massive red flag. You know, because these people don't care. It's typically the type of behaviour they exhibit. And that not caring bit, as dumb as it sounds, because it is kind of obvious, is actually extremely important, because that ends up backfiring. Because if this person has like a lot of friends, a person experiencing the trauma dump, then it means that there's like a red flag with this person, and that's essentially like an SOS, like, get the fuck out of there if you can. Because that person is probably going to be dangerous. It's going to be bad for your mental health. It's going to be bad for other people. You don't want that person in your life. You know, it's ridiculous that people can even enable that. But talk about selfish. Like, enabling it is selfish in itself. I think at some point you also have to let go of those types of people. I know for certain there are a lot of, I think I've known a lot of women who sort of, I wouldn't say suck up to certain guys, but suck up to certain people, and they get responded to in such a negative way that they just end up struggling. And it becomes a problem in itself, like a new point of trauma. Like, hell, I've even been through my own sort of trauma within like the dating sphere. I've essentially exposed myself once because I was way too fucking forward. You know, I'm ashamed of it. I'm definitely sorry for it. But I was encouraged, and that in itself is a bit of trauma for me because I'm realising that I really fucked up. And then there's sort of a more recent account of dating where I was just messaging people I found on social media, like obviously within the dating thing. And whilst it was a good way to find dates, it wasn't the most optimal thing for me, because it actually had some very big downsides. The guy I was talking to was like a right fucking weirdo. I'm not sure what to say about saying rude, but sounding rude probably. He's like constantly messaging me for dick pics. And I've had this experience all too often with the likes of Grindr, which I come off of. At that point, not because of him, but because of just the years of just putting up with that shit. So I don't want to enable sexual behaviour from people, especially unprompted. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I don't want to go through that, and that's, again, as I said, a bit of trauma. I still haven't quite gone over it, because I just don't want to remember it. It's there, and it just fucking sucks that it's always going to exist now. I'm just tired of it. But I don't really have anyone who can support me with that, because what do I say? Where do I go? The thing is, I don't even want to get into dating anymore. I'm just fed up of it. You know, dating to me is a waste of time. It's a waste of resources as well, I'll be honest. Well, I could be, would be spending money on like a partner, as much as that's a nice thing to do. I really need to be using it for myself. Not in a selfish way, but to make sure that I'm able to actually survive and be happy by getting the things I need. It's not the things I want, exactly, like those take a backseat, always. So I just don't have the time for that. There's too much responsibility as well, and the crazier thing is I once considered having kids. Thank fuck I didn't. I wouldn't be able to handle it, I don't think. It'd be just overwhelming as hell, and I'd hate to become like what my father used to be. Like, Jesus Christ, no thanks. And, yeah, even though I think I could be a much better father, it's still difficult, and I can't even come out my shell. That's the other thing. People will say that I'm traumatising my kids by simply existing with autism, with, you know, whatever. Like, they'll use everything against me to take my kid away, my kids, whoever at this point. LeBron James? No, just kidding. But it's just, it's a struggle to cope, and of course people are going to be more traumatised nowadays because of how the world treats them and how the world views them as well. There's a ridiculous amount of discrimination in the world at the moment, and there just doesn't seem like there's any end to it. It's always going to be a problem, I think. Anyway, I'm going to move on. That's another topic. If there was one cartoon I have to say I had a massive dislike for, it'd probably be Family Guy. It's weird because I've seen bad cartoons here and there. Like, I can't really remember that many, to be honest. Remember like Mr. Pickles towards the end was quite bad. I never used to like Bob's Burgers as a kid anyway, but you know, that's my kid opinion. It'd be different to my adult opinion if I watched it again, which I do plan on doing at some point. And obviously something like Futurama, which is heavy with sexual jokes and innuendos, which it just becomes a bit excessive. Even though I like Futurama, that is one aspect I just detest. But the one show that I somehow dislike more than those, yet like some of the episodes, is Family Guy. People might be surprised to hear that, but this actually came before the obviously the Great South Park Cartoon Wars episode, where I realised that this has too many references I don't understand, and watching that as a kid was confusing. So it just didn't age well, and even then The Simpsons aged far better. because it at least had the like some explanation, or some sort of reference you can understand, or even just use them in a way where it's like, oh, you can shrug them off and have it be funny. I remember the George Harrison joke in that, where Homer meets him at a party and Homer's trying to find the fudge, and he's asking where it is, and George, actually no, he had a reaction to it. It's like, oh my god, where did you find that? I got them from over there. And he just finds them, and George Harrison just comments like, oh, nice fella. It's such a good cameo, that's how you do it. But for some reason no other show really does that. It like tries to get them to do a ton of like voice recordings, or at least, I don't know if it was a cameo, but I don't know if it was actually voiced. These references anyway, like the fact the character is there visually is what I'm aiming at here. Also in, obviously, the dialogue that's like being presented, but that's the problem with Family Guy. There is way too much of that. I don't even know who half the characters are on there. If I were to watch it again, I guarantee you I still wouldn't understand how many of these characters there are. There's some I could definitely get, but some I definitely don't. And even then, South Park, whilst it is heavy in the whole celebrity references sort of section, it does it in a way that, again, it can be entertaining. Much like The Simpsons did. And it's clear there's quite a lot of inspiration from The Simpsons for South Park. And they actually confirmed in a short recently, I think. I'm not sure if it was theirs actually, it might have been someone else's, possibly. Yeah, that confirmed that they have a huge respect for The Simpsons, because they sort of grew up watching that. Well, I think grew up anyway, at least watched that a lot. Trey and Matt, obviously. And I can see that. But with Family Guy, it's like, it is a bit uninspired. It felt like a response to The Simpsons, like, okay, we're going to do our own thing. And their own thing ended up being celebrity fucking humour everywhere you can really look. And that's only good for some stories, but others it's not. Like, for story ones, actually, it's not great. And for like the jokes as well, again, not great. You can do them well, but these don't. As I said, like, wait, I didn't say it actually, but the problem with Family Guy is it's just so focused on being about having these cutaways to some celebrity reference or joke when it isn't all that funny. And the reality of it is like, as South Park put it, it's like they got manatees to pick out the jokes, put them into this hole, and then form a joke with this, this scenario. It's just insanely bad. That's literally how it feels to watch Family Guy. And I'm even talking about the older episodes here. Don't get me started on the newer ones. I remember watching those like 10, 12 years ago when they first killed Brian off. Not sure if anyone remembers that. There's a whole outrage about that. People being crybabies, let's be honest. But, killing off a character is a big fucking risk anyway. Not just, obviously, for the implications for fans, which I don't think you should really care about. Like, the fans are not the writers. That's the thing. Like, everyone has their favourite characters, and, if they killed off, oh well. Like, it's really not that big of a deal, but people make it out that way. And I just respect that choice, but when I looked at some of the episodes that came before that, trying to figure out, like, oh, is this still going? They weren't good. They were terrible. I remember telling my family, like, who watched this a lot, who watched Family Guy and liked it. It's like, this ain't good. Everyone confirmed that. It's like, all the newer ones just didn't do it, and they started watching Rick and Morty instead, which, in my personal opinion, wasn't great either. It's got some good elements. I do like parts of it. It's like not a fun show to watch. I'd much rather watch other things. Rick and Morty just became annoying, a lot like Family Guy did. admittedly without the cutaways, but it just lacked the humour, it lacked the story. I get the sci-fi and stuff, and also meant to be a bit absurd. That's the part I liked. There's also, I think there was like a really emotional episode at one point. In that, I sort of remember one about Rick and his daughter. I can't remember. Maybe it's like a really bad episode. I don't remember. You know, you couldn't hit those emotional scores, and Family Guy had that as well. I remember some very real feeling episodes where like Brian had a crush on Lois and actually tried to sexually assault her. I mean, well, not sexually assault, but you know, kiss. That's the wrong term. I think I just misremembered it. That was it. But that had some very big sort of, you know, realistic energy. I don't know what the term is. Like, it felt very real, like true to life. That's it. And that's why it feels like some episodes are good. They have that plot to them, and you know, it takes itself seriously when it needs to. But I think every episode post a certain few just become absolute absurdity. Like all the chicken fights with Peter and that chicken guy. I can't remember the name. They obviously throwing Meg under the bus. I mean, that can be funny, but it's not great. A lot of the original humour in Family Guy just wasn't very creative. So definitely jokes in it a lot. I think my favourite one still has to be when they order food. They're taking is it Joe's? I can't remember his name for some reason. Joe's wife to the hospital with the baby, and for some reason Peter decides to stop off and get a McDonald's or something, or whatever their equivalent is, and it is like Lois in the back says like, Peter, she's having a baby, and he says, yeah, and a kid's meal too. Yeah, it's like, it's a good joke. I can't really complain about it. But so many of the jokes just don't land in that series. Just at all. And I haven't even gone into the other one. Fucking American Dad. I don't know what it was with that show, but as a kid that was boring as fuck too. Certainly had funny moments, but it was just a terrible premise. It's like all the characters missing the gimmick of like, obviously like Stewie, who was actually a great gimmick for Family Guy. Like certainly one of the few characters that surprised me growing up as well. But man, American Dad was just boring. It's like probably an American satire, let's be honest, hence the name. But it's not funny. I don't find a lot of it that funny, and the fact there's like no clips from it online compared to like Family Guy, which has tons, probably shows that it wasn't really meant to be. I remember a lot of the new episodes in that as well just being really fucking bad. There was just nothing. So it felt the same way as Family Guy after a certain point, and I definitely could be wrong about it. It could be just a case of misremembering. But even then, I've seen far more cartoons since then, and I've found better. You know, even kids' cartoons, sort of, anyway, or more like family-friendly ones. Gravity Falls was amazing, Amphibia was amazing. Yellow House is definitely good. I wouldn't call it amazing, but it's good. It's enough to enjoy it. But man, there's so many ways to fuck a cartoon, and Family Guy is literally with the cutaway shit. I remember seeing like a video essay on the cutaways, and the conclusion, the findings rather, was that they had so many cutaways in the recent seasons, it completely doubled since like the first season, where there's like over 180 cutaways or something in like the later seasons and that. Also when Peter started singing about the bird is the word is when it started to get really fucking annoying, in my opinion. I don't see how I could really get better. Jesus Christ, I don't know how you even fuck up for that badly. It's just bizarre to me. I can't really believe it myself. Even thinking about this, what did it become? It's just nuts to me. Again, it goes from meaningful or fun storytelling, because there was fun ones like Road to Rhode Island, was it? Train to Rhode Island? I can't remember those sort of series of episodes. Even like the Star Wars parody were decent. But it's not amazing. Every time the topic of Family Guy comes up, I'm just like, oh, shut the fuck up. Like, come on. Some of these jokes just don't make sense, and even the meme as well. The fucking horse. Like, how many memes take place at the dinner table, by the way? I can only count two. There's Rick and Morty, the one with the life's purpose one. Might be one with the Simpsons, I can't remember. But then there's obviously Peter the horse here. So yeah. I see the series is fallen from grace. Well, whatever Grace had. Grace Films, probably. I don't know. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Family Guy as someone who used to watch it and has seen a fair few cartoons in my lifetime. Although, actually, it's the second worst cartoon, now I think about it. Beavis and Butthead is the worst. I only got through, I think, 5 or 6 episodes before deciding, you know what, this is absolute garbage. It is terrible. It's one of the worst fucking shows I've ever seen. Animation-wise, nothing really special going on. And the plot as well. Oh boy. Didn't age well, and it just doesn't fucking work. It's a social commentary, but it's a shit social commentary, and that's really my review of that. It could have improved, maybe. I've seen some clips from it, and they were somewhat funny. But other times it's like, nah. So, I don't know. But let's move on from this topic and masturbate. What? Right, I'm a bit more organised this time, so let's go through the South Park Season 15 and Season 16 review. Obviously starting with Season 15, Episode 1. I thought this episode was pretty good. It's about Apple and the human Sentai pad with some of the most vile animations I've fucking seen. Jesus Christ. It's also just one of the most gross concepts ever. Well, I think anyway. It's a good episode. Episode 2, funny, but I rated this good because it was somewhat funny and just also absurd. You know, unfortunately, it's like one of the last seasons where you get to see this. I will mention that the absurdity aspect of it. Episode 3, good episode, Raw Pudding. Yeah, this is like about two things, like two plots. There was the royal wedding in Canada and the Tooth Decay plot with Mr. Mackey. Oh, Jesus Christ, it is a good episode. Episode 4, TMI, very strange episode. I'm really not sure about it. It doesn't really portray a clear image, especially because of the stigma around, well, what the episode's about, the tiny penises. For some reason it's about that. I'm not sure why they chose that as a topic, but it's obviously a sign of things to come, I guess. Question mark. Also, it's just a weird sort of intro. And weirdly enough, they even animated Butters measuring his penis for some reason. Like, what the fuck? Just out of nowhere. Yeah, I guess that's something that kids might do anyway. I don't know. But that's why I'm not sure about the episode. I didn't actually rate it for some reason. I guess I'd say it's okay. Like, it's got funny moments, but it's just not a clear message at all. If there was one to begin with. Episode 5, Crack Baby Athletic Association. I thought it was good. It's certainly funny moments and also absurd. Also interesting twist where obviously, well, I actually won't spoil it, but a certain character does turn And yeah, certainly interesting. There is I love the fucking jokes in it about Slash, but I won't spoil what that is. Episode 6, City Sushi. This one is a good episode. It's about two things, and weirdly enough, I can't really spoil it, but the plots do coincide. It's about butters with multiple personality disorder, supposedly, and the city. I forgot what it's called. City Walk? I can't remember what his fucking place is called. Hang on, South Park City Walk. Yeah. But he's like contending with a sushi place next door. And if you know anything about Chinese and Japanese, they do not like each other. And that is the case here. And as you could expect, it's got some brilliant moments in it. They're not afraid to go there. And there's episode 7, which is strange. Just, I think it was about change, was it? Also, Ellie Noir mentioned. Yeah, it's about change, I think. Just, everything feels like it's, getting shit, is it? Yeah, everything feels like it's getting shit, I guess. Yeah, sort of a sad episode, but a good one as well. Episode 8, Asperger's. Yeah, I remember this one. It's probably my last memory, to be honest. It's like the term, like, rather than the animation, I mean. I remember hearing the term Asperger's in school. Didn't really know what it was. And this is what it's referring to. It's gross, and I thought it was, okay. So strange. It's a very strange episode. Episode 9, Last of the Mexicans. Good episode. Not really much to say about it. It's just a random story. Episode 10, Bastard Mouth. It's actually really good. It is just really funny, and I love how it's like quite relevant to the time as well. It's about WikiLeaks, of all things. And I think it's really cleverly done as well. I remember when that was a big thing in school. It's like every time we turn on the news, it's like there's been another WikiLeaks upload. Oh, okay. Don't know what the fuck that is, but sure. And it's like a big government thing. I'm not sure if it was ever resolved. I don't know what happened with that. Of course, now I'm an adult, I understand these things a lot more, but I don't know what the hell that was about. But yeah, it's just leaking confidential information, it seemed, even private information somehow. So it's very interesting. Obviously, because it's gone silent, it's also not relevant anymore. Then episode 11, I did make a separate thing for this. I thought it was a good episode. Yeah, the message about vegan kids is a bit like my stats on that, to briefly summarise it. I think it's okay as long as there's no people bullying them. You know, I think that's fine. But the problem is abusive too. It's actually force a very immoral concept on them. That's the problem. It's like, once you have your eyes open to this sort of thing, it's hard to come out that, because you always see it as something that's immorally wrong. But the other part of the story is actually very good, so that's what makes it a good episode. Episode 12, 1% of this. It wasn't anything special. I just said it was an okay episode. There's nothing really going on in this episode. It's just random bullshit. Literally random bullshit going mean. And episode 13, History Channel Thanksgiving. It was an okay episode. It wasn't massively funny, I don't think, even though the idea was absurd as hell. And I don't know enough about American history or culture to even really wrap my head around this. You know, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving in the UK, I still don't think so. I think if we did, well, that'd be bad. Episode 14, The Poor Kid. Very strange episode. I thought it was good, but with a question mark. There's some interesting jokes and an even weirder story. The story is so weird, it's also kind of adorable. Kenny and his older sister, which I didn't even know he had. Karen, I think she's called. Um, yeah, just an interesting aspect, and yeah, nothing really going on there too noteworthy. Um, and let's go to season 16. Episode 1, Reverse Cowgirl. Oh boy. Oh, hang on, I forgot to put the episode thing in there. What the fuck's that? Episode 1. Yeah. Good episode. I think it had some good jokes, it had a good story for the most part. It started off a bit kind of edgy, but yeah, it got better. Episode 2, I thought it was a good episode. It was a good message. Yeah, fuck scammers. I think it's worth watching. Admittedly, it's kind of like early 2012 actually, like the sort of language we were using back then. It's like everyone on the internet and everyone in real life is like telling everyone to kill themselves, but I don't think you can really avoid that really, especially on the internet, especially on like anonymous sort of lines as well. But the ending was like very satisfying to see. I'll be honest, I fucking hate scammers. Episode 3. This is where things get very bizarre. It's a good episode, but very unexpected and a very different writing style, I noticed. And yeah, like it's about memes and about all these like trends that they do. I remember planking, and that was mentioned. There's ones I've never heard of, which are probably made up. Faith healing. Yeah, it's a good episode though. Again, just very bizarre. But I also love the fucking twist with the cats. That was amazing. Didn't expect that. Oops, said too much. The cats are after me now. Episode 4, Chupacabra. This was bad. It's actually really bad. First of all, I don't understand what the fuck the point of this was. Second of all, it wasn't funny. Third of all, it didn't even end in a very unexpected way. Like, I didn't have really anything shocking to say in this. There wasn't anything here of note. Yeah, it's just a bad episode. And then episode 5, also a bad episode. Just not very well constructed story. Really bad sense of humour as well, where there was humour anyway. Well, some good moments for sure. I definitely like the line "bullying should kill itself." But yeah, I wouldn't say much else. It's not really worth a watch though. So yeah, just spoil it. Yeah. Episode 6, I thought it was an okay episode. I definitely like the live bit. That was very funny. It's just interesting to see as well. It fucked me. But I also sort of realised some of it when I saw the interviews and noticed there was two characters not appearing, so that explained a lot. And episode 7, Cartman finds love. I thought it was an okay episode, but what the fuck? It's one of the most just shitty, not really cliche things, but just shitty things that you could ever do to people. It's really mocking the idea of like, I don't know, like spoiler, same race relationships. The same race, yeah, same race. For some reason I doubt myself there for a second. But it's like pairing black people with black people and white people with white people, which, yeah, like, doesn't fucking matter, but for some reason it does to Eric. So that happened. Yeah, and they also went there. I noticed a certain character, and that seemed like, quote unquote, Eric's type, but you'll see later on. Episode 8, Sarcastable. This was something. It was an okay episode. If figures that funny or that interesting, it's goofy, but it worked. I definitely didn't hate it, but could have been better. Again, it feels like a very different writing style to some extent. And I don't know, it just wasn't a good episode to me. Episode 9, Raising the Bar, was a good episode. Just some interesting things about, obviously, the relevant culture and the memes around this time. I don't really remember, well, the character that's mentioned, not character, but technically personality that's mentioned, but I have heard of them. So I won't spoil it. It's worth a watch, though. Episode 10, Insecurity. Good episode, question mark? I wasn't sure about this one, sort of bordering between okay and good. It's just a goofy idea of pretty goofy execution. I do like the jokes. I think that was pretty good. And also just like the shocking revelations as well. Episode 11, Going Native. This was a good episode with a bizarre plot. Yeah, I wasn't sure about this one at first, but it sort of grew on me. It did feel like a sort of old writing style to an extent. Like the old South Park writing style, I mean. It's that absurd and yeah. Episode 12, Nightmare on FaceTime. Pretty good episode, I did enjoy it. It was a good twist, had some interesting moments, funny moments as well, obviously. But it's quite unexpected for, especially this new sort of writing style they have. But also, weirdly enough, it's quite a throwback to an extent. Because it's about a blockbuster, but I won't say more than that. Blockbuster videos. Episode 13. Okay episode. There wasn't really anything to this. It did seem like at some point, a homage to someone's style. I won't say who, it's like an art style. But it did feel like a homage at that point. But it just wasn't that great of an idea, if I'm being entirely honest. It wasn't even that funny. And even with the sort of moments where it just contradicts itself, it's not. So yeah. Episode 14, good episode, question mark. Just finished this and I'm not really sure what to think. But I think it's good because of the humour and obviously the unexpected moments as well. It's just so strange how some of these episodes range from, good to okay, and even some just appearing bad. I don't know what happened this season. I'm interested to know if there's any trivia on that, but these seasons overall, 15 is good, but 16 is a bit kind of It's like doing that thing with my hand where it's just like 50-50. It's just, yes, in between for me. Definitely not the strongest showing. It did have some good episodes in it. Anyway, let's move on. That's the review. So, being reminded of this again, it's annoying. You'll learn nothing and be happy is a term I've heard for quite a few years now. And it is just fucking bizarre. Simply because of the premise itself just being really tone deaf. And yet people still suck up to billionaires for some reason. Even though they're the ones doing this. Or trying to do it anyway. And this is why it's such a big problem. This is why I say you need to make sacrifices and basically have things in the hands of other people. Because, as per the Triforce podcast I'm listening to, a very Triforce New Year, Imperium was talking about late stage capitalism. And that is a worry for a lot of different reasons. Obviously, I don't agree with it. And it's just not beneficial to anyone. It's when someone does own everything, like one person, it's going to be a disaster. There's simply no easy way out of that. And even then, people are easily corruptible, which is again a thing that we will need to address as a society. It's not the only thing to address, to be clear, but it is one of the biggest things. The fact we can have people robbing stores for Pokemon cards now to make a profit is more than enough proof that things are just so fucked up. And something needs to be done about it. Obviously, one of the ways we should deal with it is to obviously just get corrupt people out of society. Simple as that. And I think that's something that needs to be done. So I think it's when people want to essentially steal or murder to get rich, that's when it's a problem. And that's also why we need to hold billionaires accountable. Because they are doing that. But then when someone robs a store, they're obviously being greedy about it. And yeah, like they need to be held accountable too. When it's someone in a desperate situation that is provable beyond a doubt, and there is obviously something there that warrants help. There's something there that could warrant perhaps changing someone. Unless it's the case of murder, but someone stealing, like that in itself proves a big problem. And if they're stealing just to support family, and I have seen this before, it's like, yeah, you get such a variety of people in just how they sort of steal things. I remember seeing this video online from Channel 4, I think it was. I can't remember. But someone had this fucking this video about all the increasing theft crimes in the UK, specifically shoplifting. And you had families that were like, I'm only doing this to support my children, but you had some saying that. They're saying they want to bring them on vacation. On holiday. Like, what the fuck? Like, maybe holidays are a normal thing to some people, but at the same time it's kind of like, well, that's not helping. You're still funneling money into a system where people are stealing, like all these fucking plane companies. I don't know for certain, because I don't use them, and I'm not really interested. I've heard so many things about them, about how bad they are for the environment, how bad they are for people. It's just not worth going into that, putting that money there. Obviously, it's a big problem when someone is stealing, so we need to do things to address that. Again, it's like the anti-corruption, because I think if people are doing it to be greedy, those are the people that need to be prioritised in that situation, so that we can obviously put our resources into people who actually don't want to be in that situation. And sort of tying into that, you'll learn nothing and be happy sort of thing. So I don't really pay for subscriptions. There's no fucking point. Because one, these places are crap to begin with. I can't even watch Netflix, for example, because it blue screens my PC. So I don't know how to address that. But two, it's Netflix. So I don't want anything to fucking do with them. So you have to find like solutions to make this more viable and make it more sort of livable, I guess. So it's like, it's such a bad situation to be in, and the world isn't nice to people, but the nicest thing we can do to some people, for some people rather, is be nice back. You know, I see a lot of people like hoarding things, and you don't need to do that. You can literally give money to people. Give money, or even just like food or drink, to people. It's such a bizarre situation. I just wish that people would take the time to think for others, rather than just think of themselves. I always feel guilty when I buy something off Amazon, for example. Unfortunately, it's the only place you can get some things. And I do look for alternatives, but other times it's like it's charging me for delivery, so it's like, oh, you know, fuck off. I don't want to do that. I want everything in one place or nothing. Like, simply how it goes. That's a consistent struggle. Yeah, about supporting people, it's like give free food to people, give free anything, really. Even just like social support. It's one of the things I think is really lacking. Because you do need to address this somehow. I can't live in a world where nobody is nice to each other. Because that's gonna make us fall apart, and it already is. But then we have to talk about the other issue, as I've said, with people who are corruptible, and this is, again, the really important point. I can't stress it enough. It's when people get tons of money that they think about themselves first, and then, you know, want more money. That's the problem. And we need to address it. People need to understand that there is a reason why there's a balance. Why you have to be poor, and even in some cases, why you have to suffer. It's because that's pretty much an unavoidable part of life. It's not pleasant, for sure, but that's something that's going to happen. I've even had to come to terms with this recently, and thinking about mortality and just how people around me are starting to feel about the world and their own lives. Because I know that not everyone's going to be around forever. But making other people's lives short is fucking selfish. We might as well just all die together. That's the solution. But that also ties into fighting back. When I say fight back, you know what I mean. It's about getting rid of people in these positions that are putting us in the worst positions. It's simple. Yeah, it's about turning the tables. When they say you'll own nothing and be happy, you find ways to own something. Simple as that. And this includes things like, you know, the P word, just, you know, like stealing, like, to an extent. It's justifiable in that system. Like, there are just different ways to do it. You know, all you need is one person to take a dive, essentially, if it well, and redistribute. That's why emulators exist. That's why so many different things exist, to spread that, to allow the sharing of this sort of stuff. That's why it has to exist. Because when things are being taken away from you physically, because of just a selfish capitalist system, that's just not fair. You know, everyone who grew up from, I'd say, like the 60s to like late 2000s had it easy. And you know, I grew up in the late 2000s. And they had it easy because they got to own everything that they got. You know, there wasn't no subscriptions except for like letters or, you know, magazines, whatever subscription services they had back then. But it was like not digital. And having that physical ownership was obviously a good thing for a lot of people. That's why a lot of people often tend to, I guess, reminisce about this and sort of be happy with it. Because that's why it's so good. You know, I own the books in my bookshelf. That's why I never got a Kindle. I didn't want to have everything on a fucking digital device, which itself wasn't even that good. I tried it before. It's not good. You know, compared to a book. You know, I have plushies of the characters I like. I also have, obviously, digital images. I download every single fucking image and video I see that I really like. I've gone to great lengths to get that, even going as far as to buy a premium extension. I obviously have to find a way to keep physical music, so I do that as well. But there's just so many different ways that this has to be done. You know, that's what I'm doing to fight back. There's obviously things I'm leaving out, but that's on purpose. You have to find whatever works for you. And that's really important. You know, as I said, I think in a day and age where you own nothing, you have to find a way to own it. That's just the only solution. You can turn the tables and obviously you can address the people who are putting you in these worst positions, who are trying to tell you need to be happy with owning nothing. Anyway, I think I've said enough. I better move on. That's just my thoughts on this sort of situation. It's pretty important. I hope people take the advice seriously. Genuinely. There's only very few things you need to actually achieve this, to be honest. A lot of the things in the world are kind of reasonably easy to get anyway. Really enough, some of the best things in life are actually free. That's the weird fucking thing. The nature itself can be very interesting. I only take a walk every now and then, but I don't do it often because of burnout. There's some interesting things in nature you can find, like the clouds, obviously the sky, see leaves and stuff. Even just human architecture, like some of the houses are fascinating, especially in the UK. I'm not sure how it is in other places. Yeah, some of the architecture can be just incredible. You don't need to own everything. That's again why I address the corruption point. It's like, okay, you don't own anything, own it, but you don't need to own everything. There are some things you don't and can't own, and shouldn't for that matter. I'm trying to think, like, what's some things you can't? You can't own people, no. That's like something that people, or most people anyway, know is wrong. But that's what corporations want. That's why I say turn the tables. We should own them. That's how it should fucking work. You know, whatever happened to customers always right. To them, the customer doesn't exist. It's just like you're a walking bag of cash, essentially. Anyway, let's actually move on to another topic. So, when I started this video, I didn't expect to be going here, but I ended up having to look for something and eventually found it. My fucking god. This took a long time to fucking figure out. So, I got some very unwanted mail, and it's not the type you think of. It's like I didn't really expect to see, but for some reason they're doing it. And I think it's atrocious that they're doing it, to be honest. I'm talking about Huel. I'll go into the mail thing after. But I want to go through my problems with Huel, because I don't think I have at the moment. And, you know, this is based on a few years ago, when I first tried the drinks, and I've got like a list of things, which is why I failed to make the first iteration of this. I wanted to mention what my favourite flavours were of everything I've tried so far. And there are things I liked and things I didn't like, as you can probably expect. But given Huel is like a food substitute slash meal substitute, I kind of think that it'd be good, but it turns out for my physical health, it wasn't great. And I don't think they are low FODMAP, like Huel low FODMAP. Because this is the interesting thing, I don't know how to IBD 3 or 4 years ago, when I was first trying it. And I just wasn't sure if it was because of Huel or what. Like, I didn't know what was causing it. And, you know, Huel didn't used to be low FODMAP from what I could tell. Even though I don't know what this was back then. The only reason I know it is because when I got diagnosed, that's one of the things mentioned. That could potentially help my colon issues, IBD, Crohn's disease. Like, it's got so many different names. And yeah, So I don't exactly know what is involved in FODMAP, so that makes it a bit harder. I don't really pay attention to it, to be honest, because there's no fucking point. Problem with FODMAP and having IBD is I just feel like I struggle with food anyway. Like, I'm not FAID, I think it says it. FAMD? I can't remember how you say it. It's fucking that sensory disorder with food. Food sensory disorder? Is that what it is? Food sensory process. Is it FPAS? I can't remember. So why Google says RFID, that's it. Avoidant restrictive food intake disorder. I don't have it, but I am on the border of having it, I think. There's a lot of things and textures and tastes I just can't stand. It's rare, luckily. I'm able to eat a lot of things, but I still think I am bordering that the more I grow older. There are foods I can't even have now, which just, yeah, put me off. There's certain mushrooms I can't have. There's even certain savoury foods I just don't enjoy. There's even like table sauces I don't like anymore. Maybe I used to like them at some point, that's one of the issues. There's like veg I don't even like that much, like carrots, meh. There's my least favourite veg, which is like I think it's string bean, or is it? I can't remember what it is, it's like a green thing, cylindrical, feels like a stem is in your mouth. It feels like thorns are in my mouth as well when I'm eating that shit. I hate those. They can be cooked very well, but every time I've ever cooked them, even boiling them, they've turned out fucking hard as shit. And I just don't like that. They can fuck off. But I really wanted to talk about Huel here. And it was one way to address my food avoidance, at least back then, because I wasn't having many different varieties of food, and then involves vitamins, stupidly. And I tried the drinks first, because if I was going to have something nice, I wanted it to be a drink first, you know, just to try. I was open-minded. It's a big risk anyway, trying these, and like, oh, what a fucking risk that was. So I'll go through what I've tried so far. And this was back in like 2021 or 2022, I think. Found the black pouches. Cookies and cream I thought were good. Nice flavour and a bit weird at the same time. So yeah, it's mixed. And then I tried strawberries and cream, which I consider god tier. Literally it was. Very tasty. Chocolate, weird in every way. I think I noted that it reminded me of a sort of McDonald's chocolate milkshake when I used to have that before I was vegan. But it wasn't a nice flavour though, that's the only thing I'll say. It didn't have the sort of animal fatty flavour that McDonald's milkshake has, unfortunately. I should have told that in school. That's one of the surprising things I learned from school. In science class, it's like, why would they do that? It doesn't make any sense. And then the last flavour of the blacks I tried, vanilla. Good, but I said not really flawed, but I think it was a bit flawed if I rated it good. Probably means it doesn't have much flavour. Then I went on to the white pouches. Salted caramel, really good. Berry, really good. Mint chocolate, yeah, wasn't sure. And banana was just good. But later on, I moved on to the savoury versions, and I just wanted to try these again to address my food avoidance issues. And the hot and savoury pouches were interesting, because I tried pretty much every one except for Madras, which I think I tried later on. No, I didn't. Okay. I thought I did, but I wasn't a spice nerd back then, so the most I'd go to was like a medium. Even then, that was spicy. But now I'm a spice nerd, it's kind of different. So hot and savoury. Pasta bolognese was pretty good. I think it needed a bit of flavour, to be fair. I remember flavouring pretty much all of this, just to try and make it better. Chicken and mushroom flavour was good. It again needed a lot of flavour. Korma was actually surprisingly really good. It didn't taste like korma, but it was nice either way. mac and cheese was good, but again needed flavour. You could probably get some like bacon bits online. I'd probably add to that. It's like you could get. They're pretty much mostly vegan anyway. The bacon bits, surprisingly, like as long as it's bacon bits and not fucking dead pig. I always said dead cow, but dead pig. Yeah, you can get like dried versions, and some of them mimic the flavour. They're surprisingly common, I think. Not in shops, but in online supermarkets. I don't know why it is though. I used to love those. It's also like bacon powder, but it's another thing. Thai curry, I think it was the green one. It was really good. I think that's probably my favourite of the lot. So, like, I like my Thai curries and massages way more. Spaghetti carbonara is probably... No, actually this was the best one. But even then it needed flavour. I admit, it needed a bit of flavour. But spaghetti carbonara was definitely really good, and I even had people asking me if they could try it, because it actually smelled that good. It's surprisingly amazing, even though it costed extra, it's fucking worth it. And that's all leads onto one of the problems anyway I'll go into. Sweet and sour, terrible. Avoid it at all costs. It's a safety risk. And then there's tomato and herb, which is okay. It needed tons of flavour to fix it though. I remember not liking that, making it every day. I think I went through each flavour each day. I've like varied it up as I usually do. It's my strategy for not going into like food avoidance states. Because when I have one thing for a long time, I get easily bored of it. Like I had noodles for like 3 or 4 months straight here, even though I was flavouring them quite well. I just got bored of them. And also it doesn't help when I add things that don't help the texture or flavour. You know, adding... For some reason adding like frozen onions is fucking gross. I don't even like frozen onions anymore because I used to have that a lot. And I started moving to dried onions, which are actually much tastier than frozen onions, so it actually tastes good. Anyway, Cajun pasta, was the last one I tried. It's good, but spicy. And then that's the end of the savoury pouches I tried. Back then it was like 2023, I'd say, to 2024. That's when I had those. And then I went on to trying the noodle instant pots when I was moved house again, which is where I am now. And they had 3 flavours. I think they had more, but I only tried a few of them that I was quite familiar with. Yeah, like none of these were great. I said they were easy enough to make. I forgot to say that, but they are reasonably easy to make. Just pour in water and it takes some time. The milkshakes are easiest to make, I think. The meals are a bit longer. Not that involved, luckily. It's just like scoop it in. Yeah, I know the Korean barbecue had an odd flavour. This is what I thought tasted like McDonald's milkshake. It literally did. I don't know why, but it tasted like milkshake. I don't know. No fucking idea why that is. So bizarre. Always like not very pleasant. Needs a lot of flavour to fix. Texture is fine. It's just the flavour. And then katsu noodles. I said that the other 2 are harder to feel and mix for some reason. This one was really easy. Yeah. The texture the same as the other 2, soft and firm, and some soy chunks. And the vegetable bits are a bit chewy for some reason. Flavour, nothing like katsu. There's something not right about them, but this was really the nail in the coffin for me. As if there wasn't another thing. Another 2, rather. What my problem was with Huel was the flavour. They hadn't quite nailed the flavour part that well. There are some good flavours, but they could be better. And that's probably my main issue. It's not that I don't want to use like condiments with them. I think I still will, even if they are nice. But I use condiments as an enhancer to make them nicer, but sometimes to fix the flavour. That's what I do with my noodles at the moment. Even though I could have them on their own. very much so. I just don't do that at the moment because one of the problems with noodles is they are quite plain without a proper flavour sachet. The last noodles I ever tried that were actually nice were probably vegan village mushroom noodles. But the problem with them is I don't actually think they were vegan, even though I said it was. But I looked up some of the ingredients, it's like some of these don't appear to be that vegan friendly. Like, it's not like palm oil or anything, which itself is questionably not vegan friendly, even though it technically is as an ingredient, but not as obviously the attainment of them. But the weirdest thing with these noodles is just that so many of the ingredients were flagged as potentially not vegan, so at that point I was just put off them. So I just decided not to have them ever again, even though they were really tasty, which is kind of a shame. But I have found better. I've found like, oh, I forgot what they're called, but it's like these chili noodles in supermarkets. It's really nice. It first came in a pot and they started doing packet ones. I wish I could remember, but it doesn't matter. But they're doing a lot more noodles now, which is good. So I like my noodles. They're pretty nice. They're easy to make as well, unless obviously boiled. I'm trying to think, what's the other thing? I think I was just going to go back to the topic at hand. So, yeah, as if the flavour situation wasn't bad enough for these noodle pots, but it feels like they've lost the plot. They stopped selling the bar forms of Huel, which I used to have. I actually tried them for a time and they weren't anything special, but they gave me obviously the breakfast hit that I needed, gave me my vitamins, gave me things, and I had blood tests on these as well and nothing was flagged, to be fair. I think the only thing maybe, as it always has been anyway, because of I think a genetic thing, it's probably iron. I don't know why, but everyone in my family has an iron problem. I'm not sure what that's about though, especially given some of them take meat, and yeah, that's another thing. But you know, Huel is, I think, a very mixed bag when it comes to the experience, and I think my biggest problem, other than the flavour, has to be the price. Now I want to go on there again to look at it. The old Denmark, no, it's my VPN. What the fuck is going on? Where's the UK? United States? United Arab? Oh, close enough. No, United Kingdom, there is. Shop on, like, what have we got here? Okay, it's just interface. So yeah, like, they got different things. They got powder meals. I don't have the ready to drink drinks. I've seen them around. It's good that they're selling them in supermarkets. It's really handy. Greens and superfoods. I don't like that they're selling superfoods. I've heard about this column before. There's no such thing as a fucking superfood. It just doesn't exist. And that's already one of the biggest problems here. Like, why? This is a brand that used to pride itself on being quite accurate with the info they provided, and honestly it's not really that accurate to claim something as a superfood. It's a bit dumb, really, in my opinion. Right, so they've got like 5 different powdered meals. That is interesting. I'm going to go through them. All flavours. No, this isn't a meal. What the fuck? It's just we could make, oh, powders, okay. Yeah, fair enough. And these are all the flavours that I tried before, the protein flavour. Yeah, I've got this like separated into protein and stuff. Have they got anything new? Nope. Cinnamon swirl, maybe? Nothing new. The price is still a bit outrageous. It's a bit cheaper for the drinks for some reason. Essentials, which is the cheapest? Yeah, most affordable complete meal is just chocolate or vanilla. and honestly it's not really worth it, because they're not good flavours. Diet meals, the same situation, but seems to be for the weight loss. Again, it's drinks, gluten-free. For some reason there's a bit more pricey as well. Why? You don't even have gluten in these things, I don't think. It's a bit weird. Powder Professional, again priced up. You're built for and tested for performance, okay. So yeah, not a very good deal. About the hot savoury pots and hot savoury meals. Alright, so let's have a look at these in a second. Just get other things on here. Final Fantasy 14 shit. I could just AFK a bit. So the pots, they've still got a selection box, which is nice. They've got Scabetti Carbonara. God, I am losing it today. That is something. Let's see. So they've got like fiery chicken noodles, which I probably won't try. It's got 4 chili peppers. Fuck that. Maybe a bit too spicy. Way up my league, and then same thing, Korean barbecue, pasta bolognese. Yeah, I imagine they're the same as the hot savoury powders. Like, probably not worth it. But what about the price? Has it improved? Because this was stupidly expensive when I first got them. 8 pots for £27. Nope, still a scam. Yep, that's a fucking highway robbery if I've ever seen one. And yeah, in the stores you can get much cheaper, given, like, yeah, it's not, obviously it's a vitamin thing, but noodles, like pots of noodles, like, you could get like a pot for £1.50 each. That's not nearly as expensive as this, where it's like, hang on, let me calculate, calculator, do a subscription obviously, because that might be a bit better to calculate. 24 divided by 8, technically I could do that in my head, it's £3. Fucking, I'm stupid. But that's obviously £3 each. Double what you get from a normal, like, pot of noodles in the shops. They're harder to find vegan, and obviously not nutritionally complete, but to me that's not really a great trade-off. And that's for like 8 meals. So this isn't even, we're not even talking about over a course of a few weeks, where if I were to buy some either packet noodles or noodle pots online, it would cost me much less to do that and get a multivitamin. And the multivitamin cost me about 10 quid for 180 of them. For the essential vitamins, and then an additional £10 for each other one I add on top of that, like omega-3 ALA I think it is. And there's even, what do I have? Vitamin D3, I have a vegan one obviously. You know, that cost me less than this. Which, again, it just goes to show a big problem there, I think. And that lasts longer. Now, if you times the amount you would have in that, like, what, 8 pots, £24? That's like, how many weeks? 4 weeks plus another one, which is 5. And times that by 2, so 10, so 10 times 24. £240 for multivitamins. You compare that to, not multivitamins, Huel, but you compare that to obviously multivitamin plus noodles. It's not a good deal at all. You know, that is atrocious. I'm just going to be honest, it's bad. Like, let me look at the noodles I've got on my basket at the moment. Like, a pack of 20 for £25. Okay, so that's going to last me, that's going to cost £75 over the course of, say, 10 weeks. I'm assuming 10 weeks anyway. And then the multivitamins, which cost much less, but veg one, again, probably £10, omega-3 £10. So that's going to be like 100 something pounds compared to 240. Now you see the problem. This is a scam. It's just such a bad fucking deal. So I don't understand what the logic is there. It's just so inefficient to do that. Have the hot and savoury meals fared better though? Let's see. So, got the same. It was a new one actually. Katsu curry, chicken and mushroom pasta, Mexican chili. I think I did try Mexican chili and I didn't like it that much. Got a selection box, which is good for the noodles. Pasta and gravy selection box, which is good. Fire and chicken noodles. Same things as before. The dress. They remove carbonara? Hang on. What the fuck? Are you kidding me? Why? Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's the other thing. Huel used to pride itself on being affordable, but it's not. It's not affordable. At least now they're saying it's like no time for lunch, no problem, but still, that used to be the big sticking point. It used to be affordable, so subscribe and save for the pouches for the hot and savoury is £9.60. And you get more for that, by the way. And the noodles. And yeah, I just think that's better. It says 7 meals, but I don't know. Did I miscalculate? It's 8 meals per thing, isn't it? Wait, it's per box. So you get a meal in one of them. I don't know if I've calculated it correctly, that might be my bad. It's still super expensive. Like, let me just make one. Yeah, it adds up. So you're getting 21 mils for 3 packets. If you add like the amount I said, like 5, that's £98 for a month's worth. That's ridiculous. Like, Jesus Christ. Again, it's cheaper to just get the noodles and then the multivitamins on top. It's just not a good deal. And then what about these superfoods and daily greens? Like, how bad are these? So, the drink's ready to go. Peach and hibiscus, apple, cucumber, mint, blueberry, lemon, thyme. Actually sounds kind of nice. What do they do? Doesn't say. Is it vegan or gluten free? Why have they got an AI product assistant? Thinking. Quote unquote thinking. They don't think. It's fucking stupid. I can't confirm the product info I have here. What? Are you fucking kidding me? Jesus Christ. Like, the AI doesn't even know. But it says vegan on it. Fucking idiots. Fuck's sake. It's hilarious. Jesus Christ, that is going to be a title, I think. Oh, this is absolutely ridiculous. I just found underneath all vegan certified B. Oh, Jesus Christ. I wasn't even having it. More than just green clarity, iron and B12, focus, mental sharpness, daily defense, vitamin C, track your gut, chicory root, fiber and calcium, support healthy digestion, go within, biotin, zinc, support healthy hair, skin and nails. I've never heard of biotin. Energy that lasts, vitamin B6 and B12, support energy metabolism. Like, it doesn't seem like a super drink to me. You know, it doesn't matter what you fucking put in it. Nothing's going to be a superfood. So I'm pretty sure this is a con. And I think there's probably a lot more going on in something like, it says 41 vitamins and minerals, so maybe I'm wrong. But I think there's more going on in the hot and savoury food and drinks. And then the powder, which is a similar situation, nice cheap, 30 servings compared to, how many is that? 12 cans. It's cheaper to get the powder. And there's only 2 flavours, original and watermelon. Jesus Christ. It's so bad. But you know, they sent me a bit of mail through the other day, so the prices are bad. The flavour is not great. But they sent me some mail earlier, which I think demonstrates that they're struggling. For some fucking reason, like, you even shocked at this point. Like, why? Like, it's just so fucking stupid. Why are you sending me mail to say you've got a deal? I don't want to subscribe to that. Like, fuck off. I'm not buying your products. They're not worth it. Yeah, it's just stupid. Jesus Christ. It's just a waste of money at the end of the day. And I'd much rather address it in the way that's probably meant to be addressed. Like, adding the relevant foods. Like, you could probably... I don't know why I haven't done this anyway. But I need to get like a Gregor's Daily Dozen... not app, but a poster. Like, that would be the easiest way, and I could just put that up in the kitchen somewhere. And you know, that would also encourage people to be fucking healthier as well, possibly. Other people in my house, at least some might. But my fucking god, why would I ever invest in this scam? Jesus Christ. God, I don't even know what to add. Just in that much shock, they can go from once a sort of glorious company to this AI-assisted garbage which doesn't even know a vegan product is vegan. And they even say it in the description, like, plant-based, like, to thrive on or something like that. But it's just absurd. I can't believe it. But I'm better in the topic. I'm about to have a fucking heart attack, but anyway. That's my thoughts on Huel, why they're so bad. Take with that what you will. I don't really care if people share it, but, you know, I'm not a health nut, so I can't address, obviously, the health benefits and stuff. But I do know from just ESA and also people that I follow online, like obviously Dr. Gregor and Danny Ishay, and Mike the Vegan as well, I think, who has made a video on this. Yeah, it's not good news really. See both superfoods and obviously just the amount of, just the cost of these products. It's just not worth it. I'm sorry to say, but I don't really support Huel anymore. Yeah, fuck them much. I think that's going to go away. So, yeah, I do have like a t-shirt or two, but there's no point in keeping that. I might as well give it to charity. Someone can use that. Let's move on. So an interesting but worrying post has made its way to r/vegan, because I still browse every now and then, and I just got notified of a post about a vegan influencer promoting a racist on their podcast. And there is apparently this, according to this post by Fuzzy Bumblebee, hang on, let me check account age, 2025 is not too far. It's not really, it could be disinformation, I don't know. So obviously take this with a grain of salt, but apparently vegan bodybuilder, this person, I haven't really heard of them. To be honest, a lot of people are quote unquote vegan bodybuilders, but not by name. It's just a label. But apparently he's interviewing Gary Yourofsky. And I've had a sort of past with Gary Yourofsky, to be honest. He was one of the people that sort of got me into veganism first. But the problem is, he's had very controversial takes, and I don't know if like I want to support him anymore, knowing what I know I'm about to go into as well. Yeah, like, it's quite concerning that his opinions have changed over the years of being someone who's quite pro animal rights and even human rights to an extent. I'm pretty sure he defended those. But he seems to have changed as well, and it's for the worse apparently. He says that people in Palestine deserve genocide against them. It's just not good. He says all Palestinians are the most psychotic people on the planet. What the fuck? Like, and that justifies whatever's going on now. Like child killing, child rape. Okay, guess Yourofsky supports child rape now. That's great. That's not very vegan friendly. That happens all the time in animal agriculture. So, Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, then there's some interesting comments on this about how there are still people out there who are very sort of, I guess, right wing in a way. Apparently, a lot of people who support this are kind of in the same vein. There's vegan gains, who I used to watch, believe it or not, like quite a few years ago. But I started to realise that some of his views were kind of off. There's like, he supports like killing certain people and he wants to fight people as well. There's constant aggro. And according to his user, Latarja Free, vegan gains has some insane positions now. He's completely blackpilled like a lot of people in Trump 2.0. People saying he's pretty clear that he's pretty right wing. He's in on defending Trump because he beats Islamics. It does surprise me. Some of those views, like, actually, yeah, made me realise that. And then there's like podcasts who promoted Gary Yourofsky, according to this user called Lemon of Hator. So Jamie Logan, Christspiracy, Collins of Debunked, such George Martin, Main Street Vegan, Victoria Moran, Switch for Gold, Vegan Gains, The Militant Vegan, Vegan Heretic, and Misfit Vegan. And the assumption is all these people are bigots like Gary Yourofsky. So yeah. Honestly, the fact that I haven't really heard of any of these other than Christspiracy is probably proof of that. I did try to watch Christspiracy, but I couldn't find a good stream of it. Didn't seem to exist, so yeah. There went that documentary, so no point. What are these not so favoured comments here? The guy seems to be mentally ill. What the fuck are you on about? Like maybe PTSD, could be. But to be honest, he surrounds himself with this shit all day. So it doesn't surprise me, and it wasn't until I did that myself I started to get into that like animal rights sphere where I just consistently pushed it forward and forced myself to watch all the suffering and death. You know, when I was doing that, I started to have a different view of humanity. I think the only way to mitigate that is to balance it out. Obviously, when you watch something like that every now and then, I think you need to also weigh it out with the good that humanity can do. And you do that obviously by things like entertainment, obviously where it's safe, like cartoons can't really go wrong. Gaming could easily do. There's just different ways to balance it out, but you get into that mind state where you do lead people to think that you're actually mentally ill. And it is worrying, but I want to go through the Palestine one. Apparently the Vegan Feminist Network has sort of documented this, and yeah, it says the dangers of hero worshipping and activist movement. Posted in April 2023. What? April 23, 2015. Alright. But this is from all the way back then. Oh, what the fuck? So it's not even a recent post. That's a bit irrelevant, I guess. So maybe it is wrong. I don't know, your minds can change, but this is back in a time when Islamophobia was quite big, but I'll read the post anyway. So according to the real Gary Yourofsky, it says, as Israelis are in the process of destroying the meat, dairy and egg industries, which will lead to the eradication of animal concentration camps, Palestinians and their psychotic human rights sympathizers are building more animal camps, while Israelis have made their land a haven for homosexuals, Palestinians ostracize, harm, and even murder gay people, so they consider homosexuality to be sinful. All the Israelis, sounds the ultra orthodox one who comprise 1.2. What the fuck even is he talking about? Allow women an equal say in society. Palestinians continue. Text is too small. What the fuck is this screenshot? The same way all Arab nations do, while Israelis would love to live amongst the Palestinians, and all the other people of Palestinians are hell-bent on destroying Jews through teaching hatred towards them into schools, and refuse to live peacefully amongst Jewish people. The Palestinians are the problem. They are the most psychotic group on the planet. Even the Arab nations who sympathise with them, Egypt, Jordan, send these psychotic lunatics back. They catch them hiding out in their country, so there'll be another mindless bleeding heart liberal who blindly takes the side of Palestinians because they're close to jaw. Furthermore, even though I'm more sympathetic towards human rights issues, gay rights, women's rights, etc., I will no longer fight for the humans to be treated fairly / equally until those who are oppressed stop oppressing the animals. I get the take, but it's a bad take. Because what he's trying to say here, me speaking, is saying that because people oppress animals, they're obviously evil, and that means they deserve to die. It's a bad take. Like, America does it consistently, so why are you saying this about America? There's a massive hypocrisy here. There's not really any difference. And America is anti-gay. America is anti-women's rights. So what are you on about? Like, Trump was in power, I think, anyway, in 2015, wasn't he? Or was it 2016? I can't remember. I've had a lot of useless American presidents, so it's hard to keep track. Anyway, back to the post, if I can see what I've got to. So I'm not going to fight for human rights. Until animals are included in discussion, I say to hell with any oppressed two-legged creature who can't realise the oppression they are actively supporting every time they eat a meal or buy a new pair of shoes. The animals go at worst of all. Palestinians are living like kings and queens compared to the cows, chickens, turkeys, pigs, sheep, and oil. So focused on the issue at hand, animal liberation. Forget about those Palestinian maniacs, and technically, even under the loosest definition, Palestinians are not living in concentration camps. Go visit a cow slaughterhouse where these innocent are being beheaded one after another, or a dairy facility where cows are raped to impregnate them, and machines hooked up to their breasts several times a day, or watch a slaughterhouse truck being driven down the road to 1,000 chickens on board, headed to a building to be murdered. And ask yourself, how the hell did I get duped into believing that Palestinians are oppressed and living in concentration camps? And please wake up, focus on the only critical and important issue of our time. So, that did not age well, at all. Even though it's 2015, and this actually existed all the way back in early 2000s, by the way, this Palestinian-Israeli conflict has existed for a long time. And although I had heard of it through other news sources, I also heard of it through South Park, of all things. There's just randomly a part where Ike was watching the news and it was talking about Israel versus Palestine. That really caught me off guard, and that was early seasons, I think, season 3 or 4 or something. It's quite surprising. But yeah. It shows that even back then people were more on the ball, so I don't know. But also my take on this is he's definitely not good at these sort of takes. It's like emotion takes place first rather than the actual evidence here. And obviously by that assumption of all Palestinians are bad because they oppress animals and oppress gay people. But it doesn't age well, in all honesty. Because yes, they're wrong for that. But the way we deal with that isn't through like what's happening now, where Israel is essentially attacking them constantly. They're killing children, they're killing families, killing people who aren't even involved in that, who aren't even Muslim, who aren't even from there. Like, that's the thing, it's anyone. They kill journalists, they kill anyone. So there's not a single fucking ounce of truth to this. You're throwing everyone else under the bus there who is innocent. And the people who are guilty, obviously are guilty, and should be fucking persecuted. I'm not going to pretend that there aren't bad people in Palestine. There definitely are. The ones who even potentially even caused all this to begin again, to cause this entire genocide, Hamas to be specific, are the main problem. But they're not to blame for Palestine in its entirety. And that's basically the extent of my understanding in this situation as well. I haven't talked about it in a while. But again, that's the extent I know of it. That's just really important. Like, genuinely, you can't ignore this fact. So, I don't really know what else to add here. But it's disappointing that that is the sort of situation there. But yeah, Yourofsky, definitely not someone who forms opinions around evidence there, it seems. It's more based around emotion. And that can only get you so far, unfortunately, in today's world. You do need emotion to keep intact with it, to have empathy and sympathy, and to even be compassionate to begin with, but you have to balance it out with, again, evidence. You can't just be wildly saying, oh fuck you, you're oppressing animals, they should die. That's not how the world works. It's just going to damage his brand as well, and this is another reason why I just distance myself from the label vegan. I just don't want to be associated with that. When people say, oh, you're one of those preachy vegans on the site, like, no, they can't actually say that. Because I'm literally not. I'm just someone who gives a shit about animals. That's it. There isn't a label for that. And yeah, I live by whatever benefits the animals, and I'm not making excuses. That's the difference. So yeah, I don't really know what else to add, but that's the topic. So yeah, fuck Yourofsky. Also going to delete my, God, embarrassing to admit, but I have an OnlyFans of one of the aforementioned bigoted people. Yeah, just going to go through and remove all that. I think, like, fuck that. It's just too painful of a memory. Can't stand that. It's not a gay thing, by the way, I'm just going to mention it. It's somewhat related, rather. Yeah, fuck that. Just get rid of that. And yeah, that's the topic, so let's move on. Get a load of this. I might be trying Mozilla Firefox again, but there's one criteria. My PC has to have an update or something, or it has to, I don't know, crash. I wouldn't really actually do it then. But it has to have something happen in order for me to restart it, because my biggest problem at the moment with Mozilla Firefox is the fact it has so many different random issues and too much troubleshooting in the process. The one thing going through it is probably the ad block, but even then I don't say I really notice it on Edge. But that said, I do miss the theme. I miss having like a theme on the top. Edge just makes me feel like I'm in a, I don't know, gulag or something, but Mozilla makes me feel like I'm on the fence looking through in some ways. Yeah, that's a weird fucking analogy, but there we go. But I'm willing to give it one last try, and there are obviously a lot of things to improve, and the two things I noted is extensions, because I need something that adjusts audio that doesn't stop videos from playing. For some reason, when you have these audio extensions, they stop the video from being able to play, depending on the site. And it's really annoying, because I consistently use that. And that's to address like a volume issue on certain sites where they're not actually balanced. And it's just really stupid. I don't really get it. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah, that's an issue in itself, which I need to address. So, I don't know where to go from here, to be honest. So I think the main switch is also because I want to get away from Microsoft and Windows for that matter, and Linux is something that's way out of the question as of the moment, because there is no reliable solution to Windows as it currently stands. When I say reliable is the thing to emphasise here. I'm not willing to change it to an operating system that's going to be far more inferior than Windows in every single way, especially with software compatibility and just various bullshit. I'm not willing to go through all that. There's no fucking point. So of course, I want an easy experience. That's pretty much all I'm asking for. With an operating system, with Mozilla, and that's also another thing. I hate how much troubleshooting there is. It's fucking ridiculous. So yeah, I just don't want to be dealing with this shit. As it should be obvious, but it seems not to be to some people. I will say the one thing that's really getting on my nerves after looking at the subreddit, because I wanted to see if people are having performance issues in the last few days, because it's only been days since I've had the Windows update, to be honest. And I think the issue was related to Windows of all things. It explains why the hardware seemed to be fine, but the performance wasn't good. So I'm trying to suss that out, obviously. So it seems to be possibly related to Windows, which is good, because that means it's quite an easy fix for the most part. So yeah, I'm not really sure about that overall. I'm not sure what to say as well. I think I might have covered everything. Yeah, that's the other thing I forgot. Windows, basically, no, not Windows, fucking Mozilla Firefox. For some reason, the user base is in bed with ChatGPT for some fucking reason. When I was told that they're pretty anti-AI here, and they're not. So it's a great big fucking lie. But why are you in bed with ChatGPT? Are you fucking kidding me? There's a bunch of people complaining they can't use it with the current version of Mozilla. But you're the problem. This is why Mozilla adds fucking bullshit to the browser. Like, there's so much AI bullshit on the browser by default, which luckily you can disable with like a right click. But it's like, fuck off. You fucking cunts. Like, what is your problem? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Why? You don't need AI. The more AI runs your fucking world, the worse it becomes for everyone else. It's just one of the main issues there. So yeah, I ought to move on to another topic. So let's do that. So what the fuck is with this enemy boss in Final Fantasy 14? You never see that attack. It's just fucking random. So I need to end this somehow. Maybe I could just kill myself briefly to get it over and done with. So yeah, let's move on to the topic in a second. If I can find it. Recording. Yeah. Wasn't the first thing I was going to talk about this morning, but sure, I'll go with this instead. It's a bit more fun, I suppose. So, I've been thinking about my OBS screen and obviously seeing it blank if you're watching it, and you know, this is for a good reason, really. I'm usually playing a game when I'm using this, so I don't do like a narration thing that's separate or anything. It's not really any point, to be honest, because it's all going in the same fucking video software, and you can't really remove the audio from, well, the video for YouTube's sake, and just upload that alone. But like, I'm thinking that what's some way I can change this black screen into something interesting, and the realization I had was, why not just a series of videos of my artwork or something? I think that might be the best way, and it just transitions from one to the other, and there's like a panning shot maybe for some of them, and animated for others. Even this current animation I'm working on could count towards it. It's like a slideshow with some videos in between as well, like video versions. So I do have like pre-made, like animated stuff. Well, I think I had an Events of Turn one as well. So at the moment I'm not using anything to do with that because I'm busy. Yeah, it's too much to focus on at the moment to do that, but there is it's time to choose all. No, okay, apparently not. Video assets, that's it, I think. Nope, it's just fucking products again. That's where I had a render of this. I don't know what's happened to that. Nope, it's just gone. I thought I had a 3D thingy, but I can use the background at some point. I don't have it actually still. It's like, how big is the image anyway? It's pretty big. Really fucking big. How big do I fucking make this? I'm zoomed in all the way, and like about, I'd say like 5% like of the image, it starts to get blurry. Fucking hell. And you can pan it like downwards as well. That's a unique thing with the background I made for the comic. It's 6720 by 12,250 pixels. It's a pretty small size, yeah. It's insane. God, what was I smoking? Anyway, but I'm thinking of going through artwork, and I was thinking of maybe uploading them to a place called Artgram, which for me has been a reliable place to avoid AI garbage. It's been pretty good. I've found some really good artwork from there. You know, some things I've even had to save, even though it's disabled for the image. So I'll just go into inspect and save it, but honestly, I don't want to forget these amazing artists, so that's why I do that, because you never know. Like, they could just randomly one day go, oh, we're going to add AI to this site. Fuck off. And then, you know, all the artwork's gone because people don't want to be a part of that. Hence my situation with DeviantArt. So yeah, but basically I need to go through a series of images and add them to like a slideshow sort of thing, but in a way where it allows for things to loop and obviously fade in. Yeah, I'm not sure how to make it like loop perfectly, that's the only thing. Because if I'm going from like a panning shot from one image to the start of the loop, I don't know what to do there. And this is a setting in OBS for when it loops, but I don't know. It's kind of interesting, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking of. Trying to think of what else is there to say. I don't think there is. Not really any point in music or anything, so no. So yeah, I think that's basically what I'm going to try and do. So I collect a bunch of images, have them be in a slideshow, put them into DaVinci Resolve or something, and have it do something that way. I think that's the most obvious solution to me. So that might be it, I think. Anyway, let's move on. So I just got finished watching Rant online play Genshin Impact 6.1's Conquest Act 3 and Act 4. And yeah, I've got some thoughts about these. I wrote some notes and I'll go through them. So as I wrote off the top, maybe I'm not happy with it because it feels like it should be. I'm not sure what I meant by that. I didn't finish the sentence. But yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think it's probably because I think these quests should have come a lot earlier. Like, I only heard like in the last bit of the stream anyway that this was about Nordcry is about basically tying up loose ends in the lore, and that's basically what it's all about, which makes sense. Problem is, why couldn't this have been done earlier? Why couldn't it have been done through Inazuma, Sumeru, Fontaine, or Natna? Like, why? It makes zero fucking sense, and based on what I saw of the last few patches of Natlan, there was room for it. There was actually fucking room for it. So what are you doing? Like, I'm not convinced these writers are actually that good anymore. That's literally where it's leading me. Because I think if you can't incorporate that into these, obviously, areas, you're just not doing a good job. Like, some of the Arlecchino stuff should have been, no doubt, done in Fontaine. Like, some of the Fatui Armiger stuff should have been done in Mondstadt, believe it or not. That's what it feels like to me. So what a fucking atrocious display, but that said, I might as well get into the notes. So, Act 3. I made a fucking funny joke. This quest is so good I tattooed it on my back, sort of mocking the idea that people actually enjoyed these quests, which, to be fair, I enjoyed the story. But again, I just wish it was sooner. And I wouldn't have it tattooed on my back, like, fuck that. I wouldn't just get laser surgery on that. I'll just get, like, fucking dark matter plunged into my skin and have it disappear from existence. Like, fuck with the fabrics of time and space. Yeah. So they're finding Maria, kind of cool cutscene, and I know that lol, that's why she looks like the moon goddess statue. It's a stupid thing. Fleeing is the only option there. Bobbit Sparker. Yeah, disappointing Parker doesn't look older. They're going exploring now, and Sandra encountered Review. Before the spoiler, because it was like, fuck's sake, Brown had a thumbnail that Daisy might appear in the next quest, which is annoying. Then we meet Dory. Oh shit, Carmi I mentioned. And seeing it. Like the reflection. I can't remember what that was in reference to. I can't remember. Review was dating someone, yeah. So Review was a spy. Also Crimson Blood Moon. Mentic? Then what the fuck did I type? I was typing something with one hand, I think. I mentioned. That's what I meant to say. How do I accidentally hit K? That's weird. Trusting Colombino meets Arlecchino. And Arlecchino sent Lenny and the net and the other kid there to the marionette. And already Lenny has broken the robot. Actually, everybody's meeting. Joe does look away from Arlecchino, it's quite funny. So Arlecchino transported us to another dimension or something. And finally, so Colombina was holding on to a power for Arlecchino, so I'm quite confused by what that was, what the point of it is. See a bunch of weird stuff from that, in all fairness. Like, it's just weird. And then we go to Act 4. Holy crap, it's Durin. I've sort of seen him before actually, because of YouTube shorts. Everyone meeting here is crazy, Daisy included. Crazy dark past with Rerir, go for all the papers of who's been killed, including children. Orlog telling Philondis to kill Rerir because it's interesting, I mean, it's because they know about Rerir's true identity. Londis is in denial. The training dummies turn into the bodies of kids, which is terrifying. The fuck is going on in Brad's chat, and where did all these reform and markup just come from? They kept asking, like, why are you, like, condemning Maria? Literally, it's fucking weird. So Rivera changed his mind suddenly. I'm not sure if that's good writing. Wait, that kid Rivera is keeping away looks familiar. Oh, that kid that he's keeping away, yeah. I swear that's Ollie Kuno's friend. Like from the story teaser, was it? Or short. I could have sworn that's her. I don't know. But then again, Ollie Kuno isn't that old, is she? Unless. I don't know. Rivera hearing voices. Brand did bring up a good point about how this reflects in politics, where the only point is where you care is when you're affected by it. Literally, I've been saying this for years. In the chess game, pieces being in dialogue is a bit awkward. I'm raging so hard at Bran, for fuck's sake, do this puzzle properly. I was so frustrated with that, it's like 2 directions. Oh, let's go to the right one twice. For fuck's sake. Nefer thinks she's hallucinating. So random Nefer story time. Nefer is like some orphan or something. Why is Nefer reading letters are not hers? It took a crazy turn going from lying about friendship, so faking allyship and actually killing entire tribes, fucking cold. Interesting cutscene, pet the kitty, get the review. Why the hell did Bran think it was Flynn saving them? Danes is the only one who could stand up to Riri at this point. Interesting Riri was there, and Nefer trapped him. So wait, Daedric is working with people from Logrise, on the law bits mentioned, from Arca, I think it was, maybe. Finally fighting Riri, but he doesn't seem to have any special form at the moment. Oh wait, he does. He just made a barrier to separate the Traveller and Nefer. Or separate them from the group, rather. Defeat Riri with his own power, question mark. The Riri cutscene was okay, as if it had such a small role in opening the gate, it almost feels criminal. Nefer saw eyesight, then Bran says, hey guys, if you enjoyed what you see, drop a follow. Good joke. What is that achievement before the moon fell? Bruh. I'm like our inner Mariri. She did a do for some reason. She was the same voice actor. Very fucking interesting. Maybe she's from Steins Gate. That'd explain a lot. Just going for drinks at the end. I don't remember Nicole or the files in Simmery. Dory has a Sarge past. What the fuck is Cumberland and Sandra interaction? Yeah, what is that? Didn't realise Nordcry was about that time that sound seems interesting, and Fontaine Michelor. Yeah, that's all the notes I have. Overall, they are the best quests in the game, I think, because it's going to dark places and it's explaining a little more about Camry, I think, from what I could tell. Like, they had this bias against the Crimson Moon for some reason, and we're basically trying to genocide everyone related to it. I just had a realisation. That's quite reflective of a real life situation, but okay. That's fucking terrifying. Were they aware of that? Then again, it's always existed, that's the problem though. Talk about Israel-Palestine, but yeah, this existed for many years. But still, it's fucking terrifying. But it's a good quest, though, a good quest. As usual, I just think it should have been earlier. I don't know why it took this long to get there. And a lot of the characters just felt like collateral from this, like they weren't even related. Like Jehoda, she had no part in it. Dory only sold this trinket thing, but she probably had no part in it as well. It's like they've thrown together a bunch of characters who are just here, but don't have anything to do with it. Which to me further proves the point that this story could have taken place anywhere else, and it still would have meant the same thing, but probably would have meant a lot more because earlier on, Oh, it's just really bad. Really bad writing in terms of where it's placed. Like, it's not so much the writing quality itself, it's just where it's written. Why now? This felt like it should have been a Monstack quest of all things. Like back in 1.0. So what the fuck gives? I just can't wrap my head around that. Once again, it's just proving the very fact that this should have come a lot earlier. And this only feels like it's scraping the tip of the iceberg when it comes to lore. A lot of this really should have been a lot earlier. Like, even Inazuma would have been somewhat acceptable, you know, given they had to get resources and obviously hire people. But my fucking god. Like, it's just an embarrassment. You know, this is why I'm glad I quit the game. It doesn't matter how good your writing is. It's only as good as your development team. You know, I don't know what... I can't remember what Lord of the Rings Gollum was like. I remember when that shit came out. It was like everywhere because of terrible graphics. But I imagine the story was decent, wasn't it? Right? I don't know. Let's assume it was. You still got the crappy gameplay. It doesn't mean the game is going to be good just because the story is good. Because the gameplay is a different story. It's a story in itself. You know, what is a game without the fucking trials and tribulations? Like, literally. And you know, because Genshin Impact here feels like it should have just been a book or a visual novel. You know, it just feels like a disappointment. So they've already fucked up the formula. For something that should have been like story heavy and just have like PNGs on the screen. They decided to go with like full 3D animation and combat and shit. Like, it just feels unnecessary. And I have no idea why they decided to pair that with, again, a gacha of all things. Because you could have kept it 3D, you could have obviously done all this, but you had to put it with a gacha. Like, why? It's just so fucking stupid. So yeah, my thoughts haven't changed on that, and fuck Conquest Star Rail, I'm not really interested. At that point, that game can just suck our dickus. Because I can't fucking do it with that game. It's just so bad. But yeah, let's move on. I've finally fucking done it. Look, I'm just in shock. These years later, these fucking frustrations around shredded instruments, which I've been using, obviously, for my metal covers, and trying to get the slides to work, because they've always been an issue. And I've relied on pitch this whole time, and I tried to troubleshoot all the issues with the slide jank, because it is still jank despite me getting it to work now. And I'm just in shock by how simple it was to fix in the end. So because I got the fretless bass, I was curious, how the hell do I get slides on that? And it turns out you have to overlap the next note in the section to do that, which makes sense. That's what I figured out really early on. The problem was just trying to get it to work, to actually hear it. And this was a whole other game to play, because honestly it didn't work properly. So I tried to troubleshoot that as best as I could. And it took me, again, many attempts like back then to try and get it to work with no success. I was trying to do the key change instead. I was trying to do velocity and nothing was working. And somehow, after some amount of updates, and also trying it with the fretless bass, I've realised how it actually works and how to fix it. And I'm just fucking happy. Like, I've made an entire riff, like, I'm not sure. Yeah, I can actually share the audio in a sec, as long as nothing appears. Might actually get some audio I don't want. Let's see. I don't want to do audio application, I don't think. Audio output? Question mark? Is that it? I guess, yeah, that will do. If you can hear this. There we go. So like the first bit you hear is like the it's like rhythm slide. It's goofy, but it works. I like the fucking end of that. But if I transfer it to fretless bass, it's going to sound the same. I think anyway. I think it's got the wrong sustain system on it, maybe. It sort of works. Got the wrong root, that's probably why. Yeah. But the start of it can actually start with sustain. Basically, I've added a bunch of parameters to this, and it allows it to just succeed. Yeah, there's no other way to put it. Like the parameters I've added is like, hang on, I'm looking at the wrong one. There's like a bunch of velocity changes in places, and I've managed to change pretty much everything to do with velocity as well, because I think that's kind of important. And I actually could change pinch harmonics back on the rhythms. Didn't realise how pointless they were. So there's only one version of it, so let's put it to 127 again. Put this up, rake me up inside. So should pop. So yeah, well, I'm just happy that I can make these changes finally. It's going to be a bit of a learning curve to get to a state of normalcy with writing, because of having slides now, and I can add slides to rhythms. But I suppose the other thing is I just need to get used to the fact that everything's in a different sort of position to an extent. So yeah, but I've also changed it, like, Yeah, I discovered that change it, the mutes. I'll stop saying change it from now on, that sounds funny. So I changed like mutes, and I changed the hammer-on pull-off velocity, so they're all different states now in the velocity part. Just an example, the slides are 1 to 27, the hammer-ons and pull-offs are 28 to 30, because I imagine there's not really many states in that. And then mutes are 31 to 90, I believe I put them, and sustains are about 91 to 150. And 115 to 126 is rake, and 127 is pinch harmonic. So yeah, that's how I've adjusted it, and how it's probably going to work. I'm not sure how to measure it, because it's FL jack, and I can do it removing the audio now. That's the thing with FL Studio, you can't actually see how it's measured other than by visual, because it just says in the fucking corner, like, velocity 73%. What the fuck does that even mean? Like, change it. Fuck off. It's like, is there even a button to change this? Factory presets, int bar, hide, no, nothing. Toolbars, edit. That's not helpful. What the fuck is all this? Not even relevant. I just want to change that. Also, no, I don't want to edit. Why is it still ticked? Flat button separators, no, that's not helpful. No, nothing. You can't even change the visual setting for that. So yeah, just more FL joke, but I'm glad I've got this fixed. Where's my timer? Fuck, my timer was on. Okay, I'll do the lead edit and then finish. But yeah, it's honestly a relief having this fixed now. Again, it allows more creativity, and this is like the ultimate instrument template. I've got pretty much every sort of parameter I can think of with this, and it's all in one place. Also, I need to arrange the bass, because I recently updated the bass, obviously. How do I group? Group selected fretless bass. There we go. Works. Doing caps. That's annoying. How do I change group? Oh yeah, I could do it for this. Difficult to. Yeah. What's that? Yeah, rename field group. Fretless bass. Fretless salmon. Fretless trout. Gotta stop naming them after fish. But yeah, I'm happy with this, so just an update on that and how my music's coming along. Yes, I'm working on the original. I forgot to look at the vote a few months ago. Didn't realise people had voted. It'd taken so long. So I'm going to work on remaking an original. And then after that I'm going to remake a cover, I think, because I feel like making it. TikTok's recommending me banger after banger, so unfortunately that's how the world works. It just revolves around TikTok. Always has been. And another one. I just found out how to use vibrato on the fucking lead arrangements. It was this time. I wonder if it works with bends. That's an interesting thing. I'm going to try that now. It's so annoying when you discover these things. It's like, it's so obvious that it's there. Let's see, 200 cents probably. Is that the one? No, because of the pitch bend range being so high, it needs to be higher. I wonder if I can make it less, because I notice when I do a tone shift, a pitch shift, not tone shift. Tone shift, different thing. It seems to based around the pitch bend range for some reason. So I'm not sure what the deal with that is. So let's do 200 cents with this. No, it's not bend. I got the slide working. No, it just seems off tune, so I don't know what's going on there. And it's a bit weird. It's obviously some more jank in Shreddage as well. It's not just FL Studio. Yeah, it's not doing a full bend. So I have to do that one, I guess. Well, actually, I don't know what's going on with that. Usually a bend just means bend a whole step. Like, it's dumb that they haven't programmed it in, that's the other thing, I suppose. So they program other things in, like the slides I got working on leads didn't work at first, and then I figured out it's actually because of the string position, because it's something that's automatically set itself. So I got the bend, and let's do a vibrato on that. Let's see, come on. Yeah, it works, holy crap. That's amazing. So yeah, I've got that vibrato depth and speed. I am speed. It just sounds more realistic now, which is insane. I'm so happy that I've discovered this, because for so long it's just been a struggle. Unison bend, I don't know how I do that. Is it like it bends like one string over the other or something? What's it to do with changing the velocity on that? Hello? What's it changing the velocity? Oh, there we go. Oh, it doesn't work, which is a bit weird. I'm not sure why it bugs it out like that sometimes. Oh, there we go. It only picks it up on some strings for some reason. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is about. I don't know. Not really fussed about that, to be honest. Because it does work fine anyway, but there we go, another update on that. It's just, my instrument template is just getting better as it goes along, which is great. I'm quite happy about that. There's not really much to say anymore, or do, that's the thing. Because there's rhythms. I need to do vibrato and rhythms. You know, fuck it, I'm going over time. I'm supposed to be doing other things now, but at this point, I'm on such a roll with this that I just need to do it. Just do it. Do I? I don't multi-track the lead, I don't think. So yeah, I've got to do that on rhythms as well. It's probably easy to do anyway, because you just learn CC automation and it just works. I'm going to do have an effects rack for that, so yeah. It's coming along nicely. Finally, a bunch of improvements that are just helping with it and working. Feels good, man. I better make an outro for this. I've already talked so fucking much this episode for some reason. Yeah, some bad topics than usual. Less South Park, I think. I don't know how many South Parks. One. Just one. That's interesting. Yeah. It just hasn't been much to talk about. It's more relevant topics and sort of already addressed all of them. Because it's the 2012-2013 era just finished. I'm on 2014 now, which is interesting. Some of it seems ahead of its time, like I like the Kickstarter one so far. The gluten one is actually scarily aged well. Like the gluten one actually predicted a ton of events in America, which is fucking nuts. It's just insane. Also, funny episode. I love the dick flying off. It's so funny. Yeah. So it's the episode. Thanks for watching. See you another time? Question mark or not? Please. Please.